There's a specific kind of tired that has nothing to do with sleep. You can get 8 hours, wake up, and still feel like your brain is running 15 tabs at once. If you've been staring at your to-do list for the last 20 minutes without actually starting anything, this is for you. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, but because your mind has hit a wall that motivation alone cannot fix. Most people think the answer to feeling overwhelmed is to push harder, wake up earlier, add another productivity app, grind through it. But here's the thing nobody tells you. When your mind is overwhelmed, adding more effort on top of chaos just creates more chaos. What you actually need isn't more effort. You need a reset. And resets aren't about doing more. They're about clearing space so your brain can function again. Think about the last time your phone got slow. Too many apps open, too many processes running in the background, and suddenly even simple tasks feel impossible. Your mind works the same way. Unfinished tasks, unmade decisions, unspoken feelings, they all stay open in the background, quietly draining your mental battery. You don't feel lazy, you feel drained. And there's a difference. So let's talk about why this happens in the first place. Overwhelm isn't really about having too much to do. It's about having too much unprocessed. Every decision you haven't made, every task you're avoiding, every emotion you've pushed aside, it all sits in your mind like open browser tabs. And your brain, whether you realize it or not, spends energy keeping track of all of it. That's why you can do nothing all day and still feel exhausted by the evening. This is where most self-improvement advice gets it wrong. It tells you to fix the outside first, clean your room, plan your week, wake up at 5. But if your mind is the one that's overwhelmed, you have to start there. Not with your calendar, not with your habits, with your head. The first step is what I call the brain dump. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but stay with me. Take a piece of paper or open a blank note and write down everything on your mind. Not in order, not neatly, just get it out. Tasks, worries, things you're avoiding, things you haven't decided yet. The goal isn't to solve anything yet. It's just to stop carrying it all silently. The moment something leaves your head and lands on paper, it stops taking up active mental space. You're not forgetting it. You're just no longer guarding it. Here's why this works. Your brain isn't built to store information long-term while also actively using it to think. That's like trying to run a marathon while holding your groceries. The dump isn't about organization, it's about relief. Most people feel a physical shift in their chest after doing this, like they can finally breathe a little easier. That's not a coincidence. That's your nervous system responding to reduced mental load. Once everything is out, the second step is sorting, but not the way you think. Don't sort by priority yet. Sort by category. What's actually urgent today? What's important but not urgent? What's just noise? Things you wrote down out of anxiety, not necessity? You'll notice something interesting. A big chunk of what felt overwhelming 5 minutes ago isn't even something you need to act on right now. It was just occupying space because it was unspoken. This is usually where people realize the problem was never that they had too much to do. It's that they were treating everything as equally urgent. When everything feels important, nothing gets done well. When you sort it, you take back control. Not because the tasks disappeared, but because now you can see them instead of just feeling them. The third step, and this one gets skipped constantly, is picking one task. Just one. Not the whole list, not the whole week. One task that moves things forward even slightly. This matters because overwhelm thrives on scale. The moment you look at everything at once, your brain interprets it as a threat, and it responds the way it responds to any threat. Freeze. That's the procrastination you've been fighting. It's not weakness. It's your brain trying to protect you from what feels like too much at once. So you shrink the scale. You don't ask, how do I fix my whole life this week? You ask, what's the next small action I can take in the next 10 minutes? Reply to one message. Open the document. Make the bed. It sounds almost insultingly small, but small is the point. Small bypasses the freeze response. Big triggers it. Now here's the part that actually changes things long term, not just for today. Overwhelm isn't only mental, it's physical too. Your body holds stress the same way your mind holds unfinished thoughts. This is why a 5-minute walk, some deep breathing, or even just stepping outside can shift your entire mental state faster than trying to think your way out of it. You're not solving the problem by walking. You're lowering your nervous system's alarm level so your brain can actually access clear thinking again. Ever notice how your best ideas show up in the shower or on a walk? Never while you're sitting frozen at your desk staring at the same paragraph? That's not random. That's regulation. This is the piece most people miss. They try to think their way out of overwhelm while their body is still in a stress response. But you can't outthink a nervous system that's on high alert. You have to calm the body first, even slightly, before the mind can follow. That's why the brain dump works so well when paired with just a few minutes of movement or stillness afterward. You're not just organizing thoughts, you're lowering the internal noise so those thoughts can actually be processed instead of just repeated on a loop. Let's bring this together with something practical you can use tonight. Not next week, not when things calm down, tonight. Before you go to sleep, take 5 minutes. Write down everything currently taking up space in your mind. Don't organize it. Don't judge it. Just get it out of your head and onto paper. Then pick one thing, just one, that you'll do first thing tomorrow. Not the biggest thing, the smallest meaningful thing. That's it. That's the reset. You'll notice something the next morning. The chaos that felt paralyzing yesterday feels manageable today. Not because your circumstances changed, because your mind isn't carrying everything silently anymore. You gave it permission to stop guarding every unfinished thought, and that alone creates space to breathe, think, and actually move forward. Here's what I want you to remember from all of this. Overwhelm isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that your mind is holding more than it can process at once. The fix isn't pushing harder, it's clearing space. Dump what's in your head. Sort it without judgment. Pick one small action. Let your body calm down before you ask your mind to perform. That's the whole reset, and it works because it respects how your brain actually functions, not how productivity culture pretends it should. You don't need a perfect system. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need tonight, 5 minutes, 1 page, one small task for tomorrow. That's where the reset begins, and that's where you begin again.